It's time for Deathstroke versus LexCorp. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This continues our ongoing storyline of Deathstroke. The playlist will be down below, and if you are interested in watching all of the previous videos, that's where you go. Don't forget to subscribe for the next story after this one. Many years ago, when Rose was at the age of 5, Slade used to take her down to Skid Row to show her what humanity really looked like. Though he wanted to protect her, he wanted her to learn to protect herself. These are just some of the thoughts that Slade thinks about when he's being tased by the guards at LexCorp in Metropolis. Once he is finally down, the guards report back that they have the intruder under control. At their command center, Mercy Graves informs them that they'll be sending additional personnel and makes sure not to engage him further. However, being tased doesn't keep Slade Wilson down for long. As before the guards can even respond back, Slade gets up and he knocks them all out. The reason that Slade is even here in LexCorp is because Victor got some new intel that showed that Rose was being held here. Slade Wilson is still trying to bring his family back together. So he used a DNA scanner to track where Rose is, and Victor radios in to state that it seems that LexCorp isn't even making outside contact, that they have an intruder. As the scanner begins to pick up a reading, Lex Luthor's voice comes across asking Slade, "What are you doing in my building?" Slade tells him, "I'll be glad to explain it to you when we're face to face. We are more capable of defending ourselves from any outside intruder, including you. So meet the latest generation of Lexbots." Lexbots equipped with buzzsaws come swarming out to charge straight at Slade. Some of the saws cut into him, but after grabbing a hold of one of them, he rides it into the others. Even though they have titanium shielding, there appears to be a crack in the armor, right at the neck joint. So Slade destroys the last Lexbot and Mercy Graves appears asking, "Do you know what you just cost LexCorp?" Lex's voice comes back, "Allow me to introduce you to Mercy Graves, my personal assistant and a bodyguard." After knocking the gun away, Mercy kicks Slade into the wall, where a door suddenly opens. From the doorway out steps a gigantic mechanical suit, and Slade asks, "What is that? Is that you, Lex?" Mercy tells him, in essence, it is. Lex is indisposed of at the moment, but his intellectual algorithm has been programmed into the suit's AI system. The Lex suit grabs Slade by the throat and tells him, "The reason for your visit isn't important to me, but I cannot allow you to leave alive." The Lex suit starts punching Slade repeatedly in the face, and then it throws him off to the side. Slade throws a grenade, and after the explosion, the suit just stands there with a protective shell around it. Back at the control center, Victor tells Slade, "Abort the mission." However, there's someone else watching this fight, and that's Rose. The man from before tells her, "Do not look away. Stay focused on him until the very end." Back in the facility, the Lex suit fires a proton blast, causing a cave-in and sending Slade down to the lower levels. Through the rubble, Slade picks himself up, and then he sees a bunch of gray men with backward S's stepping out of their test chambers. Moments later, the gray men begin pulling and bending Slade. Victor asks what's going on, and he tells him, "I'm currently getting the crap kicked out of me." Mercy calls out to him that he has breached the gestation room and caused a premature release of Lex's experiments. The Lex suit then says, "They are unique clones. Their altered Kryptonian DNA makes them practically invincible." As one of the gray men throws Slade, he asks, "Practically?" Another gray man charges forward, punching Slade, and all he can do is fire his gun and hope to hold them back. Mercy asks, how exactly are they supposed to stop them? And the Lex suit explains, "There is a theoretical plan to neutralize a mass clone release. That would mean all of them need to be released." As he's being choked, Slade tells them, "You just have to release all of these. Bizarros? Sure, why not?" Slade breaks out of the hold and he heads towards the computer to reverse the system's polarity, and Mercy runs over to unlock the remaining chambers. The chambers all begin to hiss as they open, and Slade continues climbing up to flip the switch. But nothing's happening. The Bizarros start to gang up and beat on Slade, and after he's thrown to the side, he sees the problem. One of the connectors was ripped out. He grabs a hold of the cable and he says, "I'm gonna have to Doc Brown this." And he jumps up, grabbing the exposed wiring. The electrical current sends a shockwave down and electrocutes all of the Bizarros. And through the smoking bodies, Slade then asks, "Okay, so where were we?" Mercy tells him that this doesn't make up for him breaking into the facility, and Slade tells her, "That's fine by me, but judging by them not contacting the outside for assistance, I'm pretty sure you want to keep this whole situation quiet, considering I'm wearing a body cam." Mercy says, "Fine, continue your search, but you won't find what you're looking for." Slade pulls out the scanner and continues searching until he arrives in the mailroom. The scanner shows a medium-sized box, and Slade begins to think that it's just large enough. He rips it open to find a comb with Rose's hair on it. Elsewhere, Rose begins to ask why is he being so cruel. The man says that he's trying to break him. because Deathstroke will die by the hand of justice, by the lawman. Back outside of LexCorp, Slade tells himself, Victor sold me on bad intel twice now. Therefore, Victor is a dead man. However, as Slade walks through the alley, a bullet shoots through his shoulder. He jumps behind a dumpster and he begins firing back, and then Victor appears shooting the same direction. Victor tells him that he just shot down the sniper. There's no need to thank him, and Slade tells him, okay, I won't, and he kicks the gun out of Victor's hand. He jumps on, slamming Victor into the dumpster, and he tells him, you sold me out. And Victor tells him, the intel was just bad. We're being set up, and it's making it look like I'm the one doing it. A voice then tells him, I bet it's the same person who hired me. Slade looks up and sees Red Hood, and he tells him, if you're done beating up on an old unarmed man, how about taking out someone else who can kick your ass? Slade tells him, I've heard about you, but right now I really don't have time for some punk trying to make a name for himself. Red Hood rushes in stating, I already made a name for myself, Deathstroke. The two begin punching back and forth, connecting hit after hit, and after throwing each other into a few walls, Slade takes out his swords and Red Hood pulls out trash can lids. Slade slams down, crushing both of the lids and knocking Red Hood to the ground. He then lunges in for the final strike, and Red Hood pulls out his guns, opening fire on him. As each bullet hits, Slade tells himself, that was stupid. I left myself wide open, but all 3 shots were not kill shots. That means that this kid is playing a game. Slade tells him, hurry up and finish me off. And Red Hood tells him, I wasn't hired to kill you, just hurt you. Slade tries to ask him, who hired you? And then the cops arrive. Red Hood fires a hook and escapes, and Slade begins climbing up the fire escape. Through the spray of bullets, Slade finally reaches the top of the building where Red Hood is standing. The two charge back at each other, and Victor shouts for him to get out of the way. A rocket flies down towards the two of them, and the blast knocks Red Hood out. Slade makes sure that Red Hood is still alive, which thankfully he is, and then he grabs a hold of the rope. Victor says, I got good intel that Rose is in Montana, an old mining place called Copper Cliff, and this time, we're going together. Slade punches him, telling him, thanks buddy, and he points a gun at the pilot, telling him to head to Montana. A little while later, the sun begins to rise as Slade exits the helicopter in Copper Cliff. However, his healing factor is still maxed out for trying to control the poison from snakebite. Victor jumps out, telling him that he's coming, and as the two of them begin to walk through the deserted town, out from one of the rooftops, Snakebite calls out to Slade that he isn't looking good. Maybe they should get him a wheelchair? Slade tells him that he's had hangovers worse than this, and then him and Victor pull out their blades. But before Slade can attack, Victor stabs Slade, and he tells him, I'm sorry. The money was too good to pass. While Snakebite and Victor close in, another voice tells him, you're gonna die by the hand of justice. Slade looks up to see Lawman and Rose, and Lawman says, you're gonna die by the hand of the Lawman and your dear daughter. Rose tells him, I've been looking forward to this moment for a long time. And that concludes Deathstroke Volume 3. More fights against everyone else in the DC Universe, but we are coming to the close of this storyline so we can start Deathstroke Rebirth, so I hope you're excited. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel to keep up to date with Deathstroke every Tuesday, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Comicstorian so we can chat about it.